Time for another board game review, and this time we have the game World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King. This was sent to me by Asmodee, and is designed by Alexander Ortloff, Justin Kempinen, and Michael Sanfilippo, based on Pandemic by Matt Leacock. In World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King, a pandemic system board game, play as legends of the World of Warcraft universe and lead the invasion of Northrend. Stand together as you slay hordes of vile undead, defeat lurking threats across the land, and finally storm the gates of Ice-Crowned Citadel. Can you save Azeroth from the merciless Lich King, or will Frostmourne, his cursed blade, claim yet another soul? Let me show you how to play. So, in World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King, you take on the roles of the legends of the World of Warcraft universe, and you are trying to vanquish the Lich King. Now, the game has some setup. If you've played a Pandemic game before, it might be a bit familiar. You draw cards and put these ghouls on them, and they go in the discard pile up there. There's also a deck of cards here that are... There are these Scourge Rises cards that are mixed throughout the deck. I'm not going to go into all the details of that and just show you how the game is played. So on your turn, you can do up to 4 actions. You can do the same action multiple times. Each time is 1 action. One action you can do is move your hero 1 space. You move them a space, that's an action. Enemies like abominations or ghouls do not affect hero movement. Another action you can do is fight. So if I move, this is 1 action, and I choose to fight. To fight, you take both these dice, and you roll them. Alright. For every fist that you roll, you deal 1 damage to an enemy on your space. Ghouls are removed after 1, so all 3 would be taken out. If you fight an abomination, you have to roll 3 damage in 1 roll to take it out, because damage cannot be saved. After you defeat monsters, if there were any left, let's say there was 1 ghoul left here, all the monsters and ghouls on here will deal 1 damage to you. However, if you roll the shield, you can block that damage. So for example, let's say there were 3 ghouls on here and I rolled 2 fists and a shield. I would take out 2 of the ghouls, and then this guy would attack me back, but my shield would block it. Another action you can do is questing. If you look on the board, there are 3 different quests of different colors, and those spaces are marked by these exclamation points on the map, like so. So, if I go on this space, there are 2 ways you can progress the quest in that action. You can roll the dice, or you can contribute to the quest by showing a hero card. So, for example, at Nex Ramus here, I don't know how any of these are pronounced. I don't play this game, so I don't care if I mispronounce them. If I reveal a fight symbol here, and there's a fight symbol here, I can progress on the quest. Each hero on the quest space can contribute 1 card per action. So, if there were another hero here, and they also had a red card, they could reveal it and move the token again. You can also roll the dice. Ooh, that would be a bad roll. But let's say I rolled 2 fists. For each fist I roll, the torch progresses that many spaces. Now, cards that you reveal for the quest are not discarded. You do get to keep them. After you do your advancing, whether it's through the rolling and or the quest cards, then you take damage based on the quest. In this case, this will deal 2 damage to you. If you roll any shields though, like in this roll, then you get to block at least 1 of that damage with 1 shield. If I have 2 shields, I'd block it all. Now, Nex Ramus though has a special condition here. After each quest action here, you spawn a ghoul. So this would appear there. If you manage to progress this token all the way to the end, you complete the quest, and then you get a reward. In this case, it's 1 quiet night. Anytime you get to skip the spawn ghouls and activate abominations this turn. You'll see what that means later. These 3 quests are the key to winning the game, because you need to complete all 3 in order to enter Ice-Crowned Citadel, or whatever the hell it's called. If you'll notice, each quest also has different things. This one has no penalty, but it does 3 damage to you each time you do a quest there. This one, Argent Tournament. When you quest here, you contribute 1 fewer cards, and all of them have a random reward underneath. Finally, the last action you can do is rest. You roll your dice and heal based on the number of fists. So, if we look at our character card here, let's say I had taken some damage. If I roll 3 fists, I heal. Did I say last action? Just kidding. There's one more action you can do, and that involves strongholds. I'll get into how strongholds appear later, but for now, if you have a stronghold on the board, like let's say like right here, you can choose to move your hero directly to a space with a stronghold. So this would be one action. Some hero cards and abilities are free actions. For example, somebody like Varian Wren here, for the Alliance, free action, move any number of ghouls from connected spaces to yours, once per turn. You cannot cause a space to have more than 3 ghouls. So a free action you can do outside of the 4 actions you normally do. You can also play your hero cards instead of using them for just quests. For example, heal, free action, any hero on your space rests and heals +1, and can be played on a quest space. So if a card says free action, that is also a free action. Let's go into some of the other hero cards. Fight will give you extra fists in any fight on your space. Defending, you can prevent 2 damage to any hero on your space. Travel, it's a free action. You can move any hero on your space up to 2 spaces. And some of these are different too. Like there's some that are like move up to 4 spaces, or you can add 2 fists to a fight. It depends on the cards you draw. At the end of your turn, you draw 2 cards into your hand. If you draw a stronghold card, you immediately have to place a stronghold on any space without a quest or other stronghold. And that's how you get those strongholds on the board. What's also special about strongholds is not only can you teleport to them with flight path, but if you take a rest on that stronghold, you get to heal 1 extra damage when you do a rest. Now the Lich King up here, he is an asshole. Whenever a hero does a fight or quest action in the Lich King's region, right now he's in the green region, the Lich King adds 1 damage to that action. That still applies even if you finish the quest or remove all the enemies on your space. So let's go through our the things that happen after your 4 actions. Once your 4 actions are done, you draw 2 cards like I said. They go into your hand. Your hand limit is 7. If you draw stronghold cards, those trigger immediately. If you draw one of these bad boys, the Scourge rises, then you have to do the following. Advance the Scourge marker. This up here is bad news. Then you have to draw the bottom card of the Scourge deck, like so. You move the Lich King to that region. So in this case, Lich King is gonna move all the way to red zone. And then you add 3 ghouls to this space and an abomination. And then the worst part, if this will be familiar to those of you who played Pandemic, you take the discard pile, which has all the cards you've previously put ghouls on, you shuffle it up, and you're gonna put it on top of the deck, which means those spaces are gonna get drawn again. After you draw the cards and resolve any Scourge Rises cards, then you spawn ghouls. So you flip over 1 at a time as many Scourge cards as are indicated on the Scourge track, in this case 2. So 1, Valiant's Keep. If you look here, it is overrun because there are 3 ghouls on it. If it overruns, you go down on the Despair track, and then you put an Abomination on that space. And then we draw another one, Temple of Storms. In that case, there's only 2, so it doesn't get overrun. But you place 1 here. Then, each Abomination on the board activates towards the closest hero, which would be this one. So they both will move this way, and they're both going to attack this hero for 1 damage each, so this hero will take 2 damage. If there were multiple heroes here, the current player chooses who takes the damage. If you go all the way down from overruns to here, you lose the game. The only way to win the game is completing all 3 quests and going to Ice Crown Citadel, which we'll get into that in a second, or we'll get into it right now. So, when all 3 quests have been completed, the Siege of Ice Crown begins, and the heroes must now venture into the Citadel. So what you do is you take this, you flip it over, and then the Lich King goes here. His additional damage thing now only affects this space. Then you flip over this, and this is the quest you have to complete to win the game. Heroes and abominations can now enter this space. You must complete this as if it were a quest space and to finish the game all the way to here. At any point, if you run out of components, you advance the marker once for each enemy you cannot place. Similarly, if you ever need to draw a card from the hero deck but there are no cards left, you advance the despair marker once for each card you cannot draw. If your damage meter ever goes all the way down to 0, then you discard all the cards in your hand, advance the despair marker twice, and you place your hero on their starting space at full health. And that's pretty much the game. Go around killing stuff, trying to do quests, and trying to race against time. Now, let me show you the special effects of the characters here. Lady Liadrin, when a ghoul will be placed on your space or a connected space, you can suffer 1 damage to prevent that ghoul placement. Also, when any hero on your space or a connected space rests, they get 1 extra heal. Sylvanas, Wailing Arrow. As an action, you can fight on a connected space as if you were on that space once per turn, and you don't suffer damage. Well, the Forsaken, when you play a fight or defend card, you get to heal 1. Variant, when you fight, you may re-roll a die, and I mentioned this free action earlier. Jaina, teleport as an action, move directly to any space up to 4 spaces away once per turn, and every time you fight, you get +1 shield with frost armor. Muradin, as a free action, Stormbolt, remove 1 ghoul from your space or a connected space once per turn, and Legacy of the Bronze Beards, when you quest, you can contribute 1 extra card. Thrall, Chain Lightning action, choose 3 connected spaces, including yours. For each, roll 1 die and remove 1 ghoul per fist from that space once per turn. And I am the War Chief. When a hero in your region quests, you can contribute a card even if you're not on the same space. Tyrion, Ashbringer, when you fight, you may treat any number of shields as fists instead, and press forward as an action, move another hero up to 2 spaces. And that's the game. So I don't have any attachment to Warcraft whatsoever. I've never played a Warcraft game. So while I think the minis and the art are nice and the presentation looks good, all I can do is really compare this to other pandemics I've played, and this one feels pretty weak in comparison. First off, I know not every pandemic has this, but not having the spread mechanic with overruns feels like a mistake. That's what makes Pandemic exciting. You're like, oh man, we gotta stop that space from getting hit, because otherwise, it spreads out. Instead, you just move the Despair token, and I guess Abominations, which I'll get into in a bit. I just find it underwhelming, and yeah, just underwhelming. There's a lot of fiddliness that can get annoying, like, especially with the quests. Some of the quests have, like, special little things, like, oh, make sure you do this after this, and oh, but the character perk does this. Oh, but the Lich King, don't forget, he adds a damage. It's very easy to forget one thing and go, oh, shit, hold on, okay, we got it. It was more damage than that. We gotta backtrack. It's a little annoying for considering how elegant Pandemic usually is. Quests feel too punishing since you take damage every time you do them, and the dice rolling feels a little too random. I think dice in Pandemic can work. For example, I really like Fall of Rome, which I reviewed in a previous review. That's a lot of fun, but that game's battle system felt more, at least, I don't know, it felt more elegant in comparison to this game. Having the dice also determine how far you go in the quests can be annoying, because you're also getting hit by them each time. It's a little frustrating, and it doesn't feel like good, like a satisfying experience. The Abominations are also like, I don't like the whole, oh, remember, you gotta go for the closest person, but if, oh, okay, count the spaces, oh, wait, they're equidistant, okay, you can decide. It's just, I've never liked that mechanic. I think it's annoying. I also think the game is a little too long. I think it overstays its welcome. The one thing I like about the game the most is the action cards are actually pretty fun. Oh, okay, you can, stack them on for more damage or defend. That's not bad. But otherwise, yeah, like Abominations, like I mentioned, they just stomp on you, because sometimes you're just left with no choice to fight them. They're not really tension-filling, just irritating and distracting. This game feels like it kind of wants to be like something between Zombicide and Pandemic, but it's not even close to being as satisfying as either game for me. You never feel like you're strong enough to handle the multitudes. In fact, and oftentimes you're just waiting there, stuck, especially if you roll badly. But you never feel actual tension in the game because it doesn't spread. You're just watching this token go down. When stuff gets strong, you're like, oh, okay. I guess we watch the little skull token go down and then we lose. I can only recommend this to die-hard Warcraft fans. Otherwise, if you want to play a Pandemic game, Fall of Rome, I think, takes what this is trying to do and does it much better. Or just play base Pandemic, or, you know, I don't know. I can't really recommend this.